Good day. So for this video, we are to discuss about transversal competencies. So transversal competencies are competencies that are transferable between jobs. They are what used to be described as experience. Some people have labeled them soft skills or emotional intelligence. They are not job or sector-specific skills. The acquisition and measurement of transversal competencies mean that you can move from a career in marketing in a building sector to a job in counseling in Africa. I agree that is obviously a radical move. However, the non-job specific competencies in communication, grit, understanding diversity, teamwork, using information from diverse sources may also be key competencies in this new context. What are transversal competencies? Transversal competencies include critical and innovative thinking, interpersonal skills, global citizenship, and physical and psychological health. So why is this relevant? It is relevant because the world is evolving very fast. So formal learning and training are not meeting the needs of people who need to quickly reskill in their working lives due to the changes initiated by the Fourth Industrial Revolution. People are, therefore, turning to informal learning to acquire skills and competencies they need. However, because we still prioritize CVs and formal certification in terms of job applications, with these valuable job qualifying skills and competencies not being recognized as a result and therefore cannot be measured, so they do not help job seekers or employers find each other.
Skills versus competencies. Competencies are defined as a combination of knowledge, skills, and attitudes appropriate to the context. Competency denotes something that the learner must master. It therefore does not reflect what the teacher must do. A competency does not refer to an activity carried out by the learner in the course of learning. A competency denotes a quality acquired by the learner, a potential for reflection and action that he or she keeps and maintains. A competency also is more than just knowledge and skills. It involves the ability to meet complex demands by drawing on and mobilizing physiological resources, including skills and attitudes. In a particular context. For example, the ability to communicate effectively is a competency that may draw in an individual's knowledge of language, practical IT skills, and attitudes towards those with whom he is communicating. Let's move on to the types of competencies. Competency is equal to potential to act and educational technical content. This involves cognitive, gestural, and technical know-how in technical or professional training, such as recognizing a triangle, comparing two modes of germination, fitting a door frame, and etc. Second one is competency is equal to potential to act plus context. What are involved here are generic competencies, and it is the competency of being open, assertive, and creative, of seeking information, of paying attention to detail, and of having scientific rigor. Another is the competency is equal to potential to act plus educational or technical content plus situation. These are situational competencies, which are only meaningful if characterized by a family of situations to be handled. These family or situations being delimited by a set of contents supposedly acquired by the learner and that he or she must reinvest in situations.
Transversal competencies as part of every subject. The new core curriculum places an emphasis on transversal competencies in instruction. A changing society demands more and more transversal skills and competencies. Therefore, it is important that each subject promotes transversal competencies. The aims set for transversal competencies include thinking and learning to learn, cultural competence, interaction and self-expression, taking care of oneself and managing daily life, multi-literacy, ICT competence, working life competence and entrepreneurship, participation, involvement, and building a sustainable future. The aims of transversal competences are specified in the National Core Curriculum. Education providers are able to further define them according to their individual areas of emphasis. Transversal competencies are always taught, studied, and assessed as part of the different subject. Systematic, operational, and definitional are the challenges for integrating transversal competencies into curriculum. Examples of definitional, operational, and systematic. In definitional, lack of clarify in scope of transversal competencies. Lack of clarify in the desired outcomes of the teaching of transversal competencies. In operational, lack of assessment mechanism, insufficient teaching learning materials and teaching guides, lack of incentives, insufficient capacity of teachers, lack of budget, policy budget, inconsistency, additional burden on teachers. And in systematic, large class size, overloaded curriculum, pressure to achieve academic success, inconsistency with high-stake exam, lack of understanding among parents and other stakeholders, overall school community culture.
Transversal competency in educational policy and practice. Everyone requires transversal competencies to successfully adapt to change and to lead meaningful and productive lives. They are talents and abilities that can be transferred from one life situation to another and from one occupation to another. Transversal competencies are not specific to one particular career path but are generic across all employment sectors. They also support independent functioning and coping with practical problems or choices as a worker or citizen, learning from personal experiences in diverse formal and informal settings. UNESCO identifies 5 domains for transversal competencies. First is the critical innovative thinking. Second, interpersonal skills. Third, intrapersonal skills. Fourth, global citizen. Fourth, global citizenship. And lastly, media and information literacy. Some of the transversal competencies are thinking and learning, cultural competence, interaction and self-expression, taking care of oneself and managing daily life, competence in information and communication technology, participation and involvement,